Okay. How's my mic? I feel like it's not working as well as it should be. Alright, it's a bit distance, but plenty on. Okay. Yeah, I don't think it's going through my headset like it's supposed to. OBS doesn't show it reacting the same way that Windows has it reacting, so I'm not sure exactly what OBS is using. Alright, let me get a link shared to Instagram and Twitter. Windows, I have USB. Yeah, I was trying both USB and just using 3.5 millimeter jack because I have the 3.3 combo jack or 3.5 millimeter combo jack, and for some reason that wasn't working like it used to. And then I have a USB uh, headphones and mic jack that I plugged in, and that's what I'm using now. Hopefully, it's decently working. I can boost the volume if it's too quiet. Okay, I got it shared to Twitter. Let me get it shared over to. This, I guess we'll find out if the stream's okay here in just a minute. YouTube Studios saying or giving me a warning. We'll figure out what that's about. Hopefully, it's not too bad. I need to find something easier to make sharing these links rather than me having to go find everything. I know there's a lot easier way to do it. 5 people in 7 views. Cool. We're getting up there. More than I've ever had, that's for sure. But hold on just a second. We'll get started. I'll start at least talking about the devices in just a second, and then we'll start troubleshooting shortly after that. Yes, it does have an SD slot, and I'll show you exactly where it is here in just a second. But I tried to make it pretty much exactly the same as the J. Hewitt's wardriver, just with everything directly soldered to the board, so that would be a lot thinner. Alright, I got that posted. So let's kind of start talking about the boards. So here's the one I have soldered all together. I'm going to go over one that's not soldered just because I've got the battery soldered to the back of this one, as you can see. We'll talk about that in a second. So I've taken, like I said, the J. Hewitt wardriver, his full schematics, just this board here. I just took everything off of all of the modules and soldered it, had it soldered directly to a board. I'm using a different USB to UART connector. So this USB to UART connector will actually, when you plug it in, and I'll show you all that in a little bit when we start troubleshooting it, it will connect both of the ESP32s as if they're both connected separately. So it's a dual UART to USB. Same GPS as we typically use on the wardrivers currently. So yeah, I think I have another one. So this module here, and I just took and added on. Little bitty antenna. Antennas for the GPS has been probably the hardest part, but it's working. And I did add a place to add an optional SMA antenna, which apparently I've done all of the traces for these SMA connectors wrong, and I need to go back and fix those, which is on the list of things I'm going to try to adjust later on. Let's see. So we talked about UART. I've got the VW16 so that we can have some 5 gigahertz. It takes the place of the SM or SL800, SML800, whatever it was, the cellular or SIM module. I never really cared to use it. It never worked perfect on any of the wardrivers I built. And my phone collects the cellular tower's data a lot better than that module did. So we're just going to collect some 5 gigahertz signals. I do have the SD card, like you asked. It's right here. It's, again, directly soldered on. And I have 2 different power in or battery connectors. I have your normal, JST 2.0 connector here. I didn't have it soldered directly on. And then I have a smaller JST, which was really disappointing to me because I thought I had the right size JST, but apparently I didn't. I'm not quite sure what JST I need for these batteries here. But the connectors are just a little too big for this connector. So I need to figure out what that is. And that's why I ended up just having to solder this battery directly on. Which, speaking of the battery, I do have a battery charging unit and management. It's the same one that Just Call Me Coco uses in his Marauder V6. I'm pretty sure it's the same one he uses in his V6. We talked about it a little bit. He uses it in 2 of his devices. I actually got the schematic from his GitHub, and that portion of it seems to be working just fine. So you can see I powered it on, about half charged, and then double click to power it off. That part seems to work just fine. It's the flashing the 2 ESPs I'm having an issue with. So any other questions before we start trying to get this thing flashed? Or anything else you want to see on it? Yes, figuring out the JSTs was I spent probably an hour and thought I had the right one with this, but because I didn't have any in person, I wasn't able to test it. There's the same Amazon listing. I got these 3,000 milliamp hour batteries. Has a 10,000 milliamp hour battery you can get. That is the JST 2.0, which is why I added it. Oh, and one other thing I did add that was requested on Twitter was a 5-volt in, so you can connect like a 5-volt solar panel or something to it, and that will act just like your 5-volt in off of the USB. So that'll allow you to just power it solar. Let's get this connected to my computer, and I'll kind of show you what it's doing. So it's connected. Let's pull up. Oh, device manager. So in device manager, I guess I gotta change screens. So in device manager here, you'll see that under my ports, my COM ports, I've got 2 different Silicon Labs CP2150, 2105 USB to UART bridge. So this is both of the ESP32s. I don't have the BW16 connected to anything but the ESP32s, so it's on its own. If it ever needs to be flashed, it's going to be a little annoying because I didn't put in flash pads for it. But so that's how it shows up in Device Manager. Now let's open up Arduino IDE and I'll show you what I've been talking about in comments and on Twitter and stuff. If I end up doing something off screen, just let me know. I mean, some of the stuff I will do off screen just to try to, keep things not showing that shouldn't be shown. But I also have an ultra wide for my main screen, so it works kind of weird with OBS, and you only see a portion of everything. Is there any weird lag or anything to the stream? Everything seemed to be working pretty well. YouTube's still giving me some warning about my bit rate, but if everything's working, then I'm not going to touch it. Alright, cool. Alright, so here is for board A. And the way I have it set up is that the standard UART bridge, we got the standard and the enhanced. The standard one is A side, and enhanced is B side. So COM3. But as you see up here, both of the ESP32s through this UART bridge are showing up as Arduino tines. So that's the issue I was running into that wasn't allowing me to flash anything. So for example, let's go to COM3, we'll change the board to ESP32 dev module. These are newer ESP32s, so I'm hoping that doesn't really cause me any issues, but it may be part of the issues as well. But I've updated it, it's a 16 megabyte flash. Everything's supposed to work exactly the same according to the spec sheets as the older ESP32. So then ideally this should work. So let's go ahead and upload it. Actually, it ends up taking a little while to show the flash. I mean, compile the sketch, which is another weird thing. It's never taken very long for that. And I also got to thinking about it the other day. I may just need to re-image my computer, go back to stock because I've been having a bunch of weird issues with it. So I'm really afraid it might be my computer as well. But we're gonna see if we can get it working before I swap over to like my Microsoft Surface or something. But here you'll be able to see the error that I was having. And while that's doing it, I'm gonna go over to Twitter and find some of the suggestions y'all gave me for ways to fix it. Yeah, just wiping might work. So with the updates, I got it working before, well, you know, all the original stuff with older versions of Arduino IDE, like before they even changed it to this format. I was afraid that updating like the different libraries and stuff might make it to where it's not going to work very well. But it is possible that I need to update everything. Okay, so there. It just simply acts like it can't connect at all. But it connects enough to see them as Arduino tie-ins. Okay, good suggestions. Let's start with uninstalling and reinstalling Arduino IDE. We'll go ahead and keep it on the newest version test channel, but if it still fails after that, we will go ahead and downgrade IDE. I'm more used to the older IDE, but I want it to work for y'all on the newest one as well. So yeah, space hunters, that's good. Let me do that before I uninstall. Oh, I forgot that's got to be opened up in Chrome. So here's space on, let's just see if it connects. Column 3, connect. So that's connected successfully, but couldn't sync. So it's not connecting through there either. So let's go. Let's hold boot while we plug it in this time. It says pair connect. Connecting. Couldn't sync. Yeah, so it doesn't seem like it's IDE. It's not connecting that way. Let's see if I can. I mean, they're both wired the exact same, so if it is a wiring issue. Let's see if I can connect the second one. B side. No, couldn't. And okay, so that's another thing that I'm worried I wired wrong. I don't know how many of you know a whole lot about um, schematics and wiring all this stuff together. But one thing I did is the 5-volt from the USB. The 5-volt from USB is going directly to the battery circuit, the charger, everything. And then from there goes to the, what do you call it, the down step to 3.3 volts, and then powers the ESP32s. So I don't know if it would be better, like if there's something that's causing it to stay on so that it never boots properly whenever I'm unplugging it and plugging it back in because the battery's still connected, which I guess we could just move to one I have all put together yet that doesn't have the battery soldered to it and see how that works. So let's hold boot on this one. So that's going to be COM 10. Okay, so taking the battery out of the equation, it still doesn't want to connect to the ESP32s like I would like it to. So if we've determined that the ESP32 web tool, if it can't get to it, then the Arduino is not going to be able to get to it. Is my only option going to end up being getting a flasher and soldering it to each ESP32? Okay, I'm going to call you Paul because I don't want to completely mess up the first part of your name. But what's the best way to see that raw serial output? I'm pretty new to all this, so I'm trying to go. More, it's not the CH340, it's a CP 2105. It's a USB to dual UART. Okay, putty. You have putty, or I used to have putty installed. Let me see if that's looking. No, that's not that. Okay, good. I don't have anything saved. Alright, so let's go serial com 10. Alright, so com10 error access is denied. Am I missing a setting in the putty? I believe all other apps are shut down that would be using it. Let me double check, make sure. I guess I'll just close the Chrome tool. Make sure the Arduino IDE is completely closed. It's about time to rebuild this computer. Yeah, it looks like it's just putty now. What's up, not David? Okay, I have serial selected. I have COM10 selected. That's the port I'm on. I have a device plugged in. Oh, here. I guess it'd help if y'all could see the main screen. There. Now you can see what I have selected. Is the speed correct? 9600 is correct, right? $11,5200. So, oh, there we go. You're actually getting it now. So, 11,5200 is not what I was using anywhere else. But it's not showing anything on the COM port, it doesn't look like. On the serial. 115200 is what was being used by the ESP tool then. It shows compared to this, but again, it doesn't connect. But 115200 is not what I was using in Arduino IDE. I was using the 9600. Guess it'd help if I showed the exact ESP module I'm using. It's the Room 32, but it's the Room 32 UE, or the E variant. I just sent the data sheet for it, but I can also bring it over here. So, like, this board here that we use for the standard wardrivers is the Room 32U. This is no longer a board that is supposed to be designed for anymore. So I thought, let's go ahead and try the UE, being that it's supposed to work exactly the same, settings should be the same, pinouts are the same, everything. So it's supposed to be a direct replacement for the 32U. But the 32UE is what I am using. Which may be what's causing all this issue, but I don't think it is. It should still work just fine. I followed the UART procedures based on all of the data sheets. I connected it like it was supposed to. Yeah. Oh, I say yeah. Let me find a micro. That is another thing about my boards. I went to USB-C because USB-C is the best. It's what we use for everything. But now I have to go find a micro USB cable that I know I have for all the different things I do around here. Yep, there it is. Yeah, it's something I had never messed with either. I had originally designed it with, it's still one of the CP boards. I think it was the CP 5200 something, whatever it is. And I had a bunch of dip switches. Yeah, the CP2102 is originally what I had used because I was going to directly copy these boards just with the USB-C instead of the micro USB. And see, it connected just fine to the standard one, the room module I have. But anyway, back to what I had originally done was I had a single uh, CP. What did I say? 21O whatever this is, O2 I think. I had the CP2102 with dip switches, so that you just move the dip switches based on which ESP32 you were trying to upload to. But I went on to Reddit, and I was talking to some guys on there, and someone had suggested the CP2105, which is the dual UART. So I thought that sounds like a great thing, and if I can get it working, it would be great. Uh, I guess there's a good chance that I misread a schematic and put the wrong type of diode or uh, resistors. Those are simple; those should all be correct. But some of the symbols didn't make sense to me, and from what I gathered, they were just regular diodes. But it's possible they weren't. There's no telling. Yeah, ideally, I would really like the CP2105 to work, but I just need to find out where I went wrong. I know there were some other concerns that I didn't use thick enough traces, so I guess it's possible it could be a power issue. I would think there'd be some other signs of that other than it just not working. Like it's not getting enough amps or something. Here, let me see if I can open up the schematic for y'all. And kind of see what I did. I don't know. Are any of y'all good with schematics? Yeah, I'm sure that was kind of what I was thinking as well. Somebody brought up to the fact though that Arduino might just be showing it up as a tie-in simply because um, tie-ins use a similar or use the same USB to UART. So that's all that the IDE was basing it off of, not necessarily that it was getting the proper device. But yeah, it could be that it's not taking the right language to the ESP as well. But I mean, I don't know exactly how ESP web tool works. I don't think it. Let me swap plugs again. More, I am a noob at it too, but I am trying. And I mean, being that all of the power works, and this may even be a direction I go, just to make things simple, especially since Jay Hewitt has added the ability for these things to update themselves. I'm real tempted to take off the USB to UART and just add pads so that it can be flashed with a flasher, which will also allow me to make the board even smaller. I feel like that may be the easiest direction to go to guarantee, not really guarantee, but to really increase the chances that the next variant will work and I'll be able to ship it out to y'all. Because sadly, I mean, I've already got probably pretty close to 30 orders for these, and I'm very grateful for that. But I also feel bad because now we got to wait for variant 2 to come out for me to do variant 2 or to figure out how to get this working. Yeah, I don't feel too bad because I have been honest in every post about it that this could be something that's the way out, but hopefully it's I just hoped it would be first iteration we're good, but most things don't work out that way. And all the support I've gathered, even from just the tried and true J Hewitt kits and assembled versions I was selling for a while, has been great. And I've still got like 15 of those that I have to put together to send out. What was I doing? Oh, I was going to look for. I wanted to connect here. Okay, so ESP Hun doesn't necessarily see it. Well, doesn't I guess see it at all as a ESP32 or anything. It just sees it as a COM port. Let me go see if I can find my schematics. Okay, so let's see how. So like I said, I'm pretty sure the issue is in this here. I don't know what's wrong. I don't know what's right. But I know it's very similar to like the CP2105 datasheet. I just sent a link to the CP2105 datasheet. On page 18, you can start seeing the connectors or the schematics for the devices. And here's the battery management, which seems to be working perfect. I'm very happy with the way it turned out. Don't know anything about the GPS. Check pin 20 and 21 from the CP21. 20 and 21. Okay, so here's ESP, TX, RX to RX. Which this is another thing that confuses me, because with soldering stuff for the drones that I've done in the past, you cross your TX and RX. But everything I've seen about this is you don't cross them. I didn't cross them. I'm not supposed to, correct? So yes, that's where the dual UART comes in. So these top ones go to board 2, and these bottom ones go to board 1. So if you look at the data sheet, it'll show you those top ones go to enhanced UART and the bottom ones go to standard UART. Let's see. Out. Let me find my voltmeter. I can test them out. That is, Paul. That is one of the things I plan to do. I believe I have one somewhere. I need to find it. If I, which obviously so far it doesn't look like I'm getting it working. But I think actually, in this hacker box soldering kit, I think it might have come with one. That's just USB 3.2. Well, maybe it didn't. Maybe I didn't buy one off Amazon. I need to look through all of my other hacker boxes and other boxes I have to see if I have one. But it kind of looks like I don't. But yeah, direct. These boards are definitely not going to go to waste. I am going, especially before I try ordering variant 2, I will directly flash these chips to see if everything else works other than the UART. The boards show up in Device Manager. Here you can see it. They show up as COM11 and COM10, enhanced and standard. So the standard is going to be A and the enhanced is B. Okay, I found it. Let's go to overhead, plug this. So, now the fun part. Let's find where all of these traces are. I need to see if there's going through properly. Okay, let's see. Where are these located? Texas is a big place, and Texas is a big place, and that's another thing that's going to make this project real hard. Is I'm moving in 2 months. I'm staying in Texas, but I'm moving about 5 hours from where I am currently. So everything's going to slowly have to be starting. I'm going to have to slowly start packing everything up, only to unpack it again in January, and then get everything put back together properly. So I'm sure glad y'all are understanding, because as much as I'm going to continue to work on this, there's going to be a lot to jump through here. So I have lowered the baud rate as low as possible with IDE, and it didn't work. But I didn't try that with like the ESP tool or anything. I do still have it open. I mean, toward the trail. I guess it is as low as it goes. So yeah, I've tried the lowest it goes. Solder needles. That would be nice, because I don't think I can get very accurate with these probes on these little bitty traces, especially on the CP2105. Those little pins are super small. I was thinking about finding one of the resistors that I have. Never mind, there are no resistors in line there. So there's just going to be direct. So RX and TX go direct, right? Yep. There we go. Sorry. Okay, so there's the pins. The pin out for the CP2105. And the dot right here. So that means TXD is the fourth pin down. 21. Yeah, that's gonna be fun. Oh, great. The batteries in my meter are dead. Luckily, the FTDI should get to me quickly just because of how many. Oh, great. It's always fun to open a battery. Let me move back to the overhead. It's always fun to open something and see corrosion. A good old Radio Shack multimeter too. Yeah, I've got multiple Amazon distribution centers around me, so most of the time things like that are going to be decently available come in pretty quick. I don't even know if I have any AAAs. I know I have AA's. I go through them like crazy because the Xbox controllers eat them. I don't know how well I'm going to be able to hone this out just because of how small those pins are. But we will see. That foam disintegrated as soon as I touched it. I miss Radio Shack. I just finished my first roll, or my last roll of Radio Shack rosin core solder. And hopefully I didn't end up ruining my good old Radio Shack multimeter. Okay, that's working. Yeah, it's also sentimental. Just, first one forever. Tester. Okay, I will have to look at that because currently I have. Where'd it go? The solder I ended up buying, I have not been happy with. It does not. It smokes a lot more than the Radio Shack did, and just generally does not work as well. It's harder for me to tin things. I ended up getting the chip quick, and I just haven't been happy with it. But I'm already about halfway through it, so I'll definitely be look for that Kester. Hey, Elliot. Okay, so I found the TX for A, and RX is right under it. So let me go back to the data sheet for the ESP. Oh, there it is. 35 and 34. Fourth down there. I'll have to try that next time I go to a micro center. They're too far away for me to go too often, but I sure wish I had one closer. Alright. Let's see if we can ohm out. Okay, 0 ohms. So it ohmed out there. And it ohmed out for receive. So RX and TX are connected correctly. Yeah, Radio Shack was the best. Although I definitely would take Micro Center over it any day, but Micro Centers they need to spread further faster. I'm about 3 or 4 hours from one now, and where I'm moving to, it'll be about 2 hours from one. Yeah, that's completely understandable. Fry's was an awesome place for as long as it lasted. And the last year or two of them were kind of a mess, but it was still a great place. Okay, I see what you're saying. Okay, that's strange. Oh, I guess Tracy's maybe in. Alright, didn't own out for that one. Didn't own out for that one, so it doesn't look like there's any interference. So, I got a question for you. And this is just in the directions I need to decide to go. with this project. All right. Oh, okay. No, they do not act completely independent of one another. Um, B will send data to A to put in to the what do you call it? The CSV. Okay. Yes, I'll do that check. But I just put this poll together. Just curious in case we can't get this working on the direction I want to go. What y'all's thought is on this? Okay, so do yeah. 12. So that is on the opposite side. RX. There it goes. And doesn't seem like I can get TX on the other side to ohm out. Oh, there it goes. Okay, oh, that's RX. TX is not ohming out. Which makes me wonder. Oh, okay. That's not good. Oh, never mind. I was ohming out the wrong thing. Okay. Okay, so it does ohm out. TX does ohm out. Alright, there's 11 of you watching. I need a few more to go in and vote. Because 1 and 1, that's not a whole lot to it. I do not own any external CP2102 boards. I want one, especially for things like this. I mean, ideally, I would like to keep the USB to UART. I like the idea of flash pads just because I can shrink the board down even further, make it even smaller. But it's already pretty small. I mean, that's just a side of playing cards next to it, so it's just a little bit longer than playing cards. I can't complain too much about the size it is now. Yeah, and that's why I want to keep, and surely that's why I want to keep USB to UART, is because it would allow other people to be a little more friendly with it. But the flash pads are more simple design wise and really aren't that complicated either. And I kind of feel like if I was going to do the flash pads, I'd want to include a flasher or an option to include a flasher with these boards. Obviously, I will flash them as I send them out. So they'll come flashed and they auto update themselves with the most current uh, firmware that J. Hewitt has put out. And the UART may just, or I may do flash pads just to get these out and then keep working on figuring out what's going on with this. I'm tempted to upgrade the GPS to the same GPS that, what is his name again? Who is it that made that really small wardriver that's been pretty popular? I've got it saved on TV. The mini ESP32 wardriver. Segford? So originally, yeah, I have Alex links to it. Actually, right here. I need to finish putting it together to play around with it. Yeah, Segford. His is the one I'm talking about. He, I don't remember if it was a private chat with him or if it was a public chat on Instagram, Twitter. But we were talking about the GPS unit he is using. And for those that don't know, this is the mini wardriver he came up with. But the GPS unit he's using is a lot more advanced and has a built-in antenna that seems to be a lot nicer than the antenna I'm using. Seems like a better option in general. I need to talk to him about if it took any additional code or anything. All right, test channel. Nightcree? Is that how you pronounce it? Do you care if I show your MK7 you have on Twitter? Or MK2? MK7, yeah. I guess it would help if I actually keep up with what screen I'm showing. Let's not have all of my tabs over there. That's probably a dangerous thing. Nightcry, okay. Okay. Cool, I like it. I really like your wiggle emblem. That's awesome. Yeah, test channel. That's exactly what I plan to do. I think I'm at a point where it's got to be something I did wrong in the schematic. That the next thing is to just directly connect a flasher to those ESP32s and get them programmed, and then see if everything else works. And if everything else works, go back to the drawing board and just do flash pads, or go ahead and try to figure out how to do the CP2105. That's nice. I like it. Because I need to print me a new case. On main screen. Because I've got mine in now too. Finally, after waiting for so long to get one of these, I finally got one. But I definitely want to do the 3D printed case. I picked up the pull it out. I got the tactical edition because why not? So I've got the 5 gigahertz module for it. But I also went ahead and grabbed the Kismet MK7 LED module so that I can add some LED lights to it. So that's going to be kind of cool. Alright, well, since we kind of figured out what's next for these is buying a CP2102 board or something. Y'all got any questions? Y'all want to see any other projects I've got working on? Go ahead and shoot. Before we finish this up, I'll open it up to anything y'all want. So if it wouldn't be that complex because I can fit all of the components, you know, just as if. Where is it? Where did my? Oh, there it is. Because there's still a lot of these components that are don't that can be shared and don't have to be individual, but each will have the CP2102. I'll just have to put it like underneath each one. So I mean, it's definitely doable. I mean, I've got plenty of room on the back if I really need to move some stuff to the back. I don't have anything back there, but I want to try to keep everything in the front, which makes everything easier, other than the battery and the SD card. Um, yeah, I don't think it would be that hard, and even just doing dip switches, if that truly would work, which from all the research I've done, I think the dip switches would work. Yeah, no problem, Willow. I'm for you that are live. I'm fixing to redo my website completely. I want to get away from WordPress and get to something that I don't have to manage as much. That's going to work. So here pretty soon I am going to first off add hoodies, and I want to make a Christmas script kitty. And I want to do it like here in the next week so that it can easily be 2 people by Christmas. Uh, I don't know. I do not know if it gets a GPS lock or not because it looks like I did not add an LED to kind of indicate that. And since it's not communicating with ESP32, I'm not able to see. I really hope it gets a GPS lock. It'd be a pain if it doesn't. You figure out where that hole, what device is adding that hole. It's kind of weird. Random hole. Oh, never mind. That's not a random hole. That's for the SD card holder. Posted the current for the rig. Let's go back to main screen. There you go. So there's his MK. There's MK7. So yeah. Well, man, you talk about messy. I need to do an updated picture of my work area. It is a disaster. But it's organized to me. I know where everything is right here. But anybody else that looks at it is gonna think it's crazy. Yeah, it looks like there's an issue with my USB to UART. I have no idea what that issue is, no idea why it's not connecting, but it's not working. Uh, Hopefully, it's just the USB to UART. Because if it's anything else, then I got to start over a lot more things. Well, here, let's just do pineapple show off. Mr. JT, Major Joker. Here's his pineapple setup. It's not connecting at all. It's not. We're not getting any serial connection to it. Um, that's cool. I need to do something like this with my pineapple. That's really cool. Uh, yeah, schematic. There you go. Is there a specific part of it you want to see? Do you want me to zoom out a little bit? As much on the screen as I can. Really nice. I didn't realize it was slow. I haven't even got to a point of being able to test. Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. Never mind. I don't feel the traces are that long. I mean, let me go back over to the overhead for a second. So I was showing kind of the size of the board. So that's the size of the board. I definitely could increase the trace width, but so USB is going from the CP2105 here, USB to CP2105, CP2105 UART to the two ESPs. So I wouldn't say they're super long, but I guess they could be too long. I don't feel like they're a whole lot longer than what's on like the dev boards. And even them, even they look like they use pretty similar trace widths as I did. Back to main screen so you can see the schematic. Zoom into the CP2105 for you. And after we end this live stream, what I'll do is I'll post this schematic up. If you want to look at it more, I'll post a PDF of it up. Check voltage. The ESPs don't get 5 volt, correct? They just get 3.3. If they're supposed to get 5 volt, then that is complete. That is exactly where I screwed up. T plus and B minus. They're not separate. They're together. I mean, I guess they're kind of parallel. Okay. So 5 volt for the BW16. Everything I saw about it was 3 volt 3.3 volt. Obviously, I very well could have missed something, and if I did, please show me where I missed it. Let's test the 3 volt 3, make sure I'm getting the proper voltage. 3.26, 3.27, and I don't know where the interesting. I haven't even converted. I mean, that's probably one of the first things I should have done was actually convert one of my J Hewitts to the BW16. Do you think that it might have required the 5 volts because it's the full what do you call it, dev board? Let me pull up the BW16 schematic so I can figure out which to test. I will say the BW16 data sheet's a pain to read. It's very weird. I've checked the power for ESP1 and 2. I'm doing BW16 now. Oh, hey, Seed Studio has a nicer version of the BW16 datasheet than what I have found in the past. Ground. BW16 is getting 3.2 as well. Alright, now the scary part, because checking the power to checking this power kind of scares me because it's so easy to short these pins with how small they are. Oh, heck, I'm doing it again. Over here checking all the voltages, y'all couldn't even see it. Three point two. So I'm getting 3.3 or 3.2 into the. Okay, I'll probably respond here after I finish the stream. So test channel. Do you think I might be a little undervolted on the CP2105? I noticed that this says 3.45, but I'm barely even 3.2. I mean, I'm under 3.3. Maybe. So this one's right at 3.3, whereas on my board, so you can see, I'm getting under 3.3. Yeah, right at 3.3. I mean, that's my thought as well. It seems close enough. Obviously, it's a subpar step down. The step down is being done by it's supposed to be an AMS 1117 3.3. That's what's supposed to be in the step down. which is the same thing I got from the data sheet for this dev board. That's why I used it. Andrew, not any great progress, sadly. We're troubleshooting a few things, trying to bring it down to what it might be. Here I am on the main screen again without y'all. Yeah, there are 3 modules to use it for sure. At least use the recommended caps on in and out. Yeah, I followed the schematics for all of these different, or the data sheets for all these different things with different caps. I mean, I seem to have caps everywhere, but I don't know if it's enough, if it needs more. Other than following the data sheets, I don't know a whole lot. Add a fruit, add a fruit, add a fruit. Did any of the more recent hacker boxes come out with an Adafruit ESP32? That would be the only way I'd have one. I do not. Wait, maybe my Linux box is right there next to me. I don't know. Okay. It might be dead though. If it's dead, I don't have a charger next to me. It's dead. Sorry. Uh, this one. This one here. It's not an ESP32 though. It's an ESP8266. I've got some. Just a second. Okay. Let me open up Arduino IDE again. Okay. So we'll do COM10. Manually change it to ESP32 dev mode. So hold down the, I assume by programming in boot and reset, and let both go. And upload. So I don't have the Arduino, not Arduino, you have a C Studio ESP32. S3, it's not an S2, it's an S3. Another thing. Was the speed supposed to be 1152? Not very good at just swapping screens. Keep missing things because I forget to swap. I've tried it with both the '9216 and the 1152. Neither one of them worked. I held boot, pressed reset, and released both. Still didn't seem to show up properly. There's got to be either something wrong in all my traces. I did use auto trace. I just don't have the patience to trace it all myself. I did try to go through and check that everything was where it was supposed to be. I did catch a couple of missed traces, but KiCad missed them as well, or notified me that it was missed as well, so it knew about the missed traces. I didn't see anything that was off. As for the schematic, I think all of these are correct. Obviously there could be something I missed, something I connected wrong. Where's my data sheets? So just short TX and RX together? Is that what you're saying? Okay, I don't get exactly what you mean. So, let's find a couple of jumper cables. Or a jumper. And just short TX and RX. So short TX and RX together. Oh, okay, I see what you're saying. How hard it's going to be for me to cut the trace of these boards I just designed, even though they're not working. Let's see. Do I even have anything around me that can cut the trace? Yeah, for sure. I mean, I get it. It needs to be done. And what's one board out of 5 sacrificed to figure out what's going wrong? I used to have an X-Acto knife somewhere. But I'm not finding any blade of any kind around me right now. Jewish screwdriver. I just saw one of those. Where'd it go? Said I need to cut the TX line, right? Oh, there's a little knife. Alrighty. No going right now. I've got plenty extra. Now to figure out where TX and RX was again for that particular board. It's 21 and 20. Okay, so how do I go about testing this? Do I just need to pull up putty again? Yep. Okay, so I pull up putty. Nice one. going to become 10. Anything like that. Oh, no wonder. I'm looking at the wrong spot. What did I just short? Yeah, definitely the wrong place. See if it actually shows up as okay. So I need to go in between pin 21 and 20. Should we start putty? Column 10. Okay. They should be shorted, and it looks like it's typing to one another. Because like when I'm not, it won't let me type at all. But then if I short them, it lets me type. Yeah, so my thought is something here is wrong. Which this is all the auto circuitry to get the ESP32s to auto boot or auto. And my thought is it's either something in the circuitry or it's the way I have power set up going to the ESP32s. And I have tried this on all 5 boards, so I know it's the same issue on all 5 boards. I don't know if I have these, what are the transistors backwards, whatever these are. Solder jumper wire from pin 20, 21 on the CPU. So like just solder directly. these two. So let me pull up the data sheet where I got those schematics from, so y'all can kind of see it, see if y'all see anything wrong between the two. It's definitely not the schematics I was going off of. Schematics for the USB 32. Give me a second. I had all of these pulled up the other day too. Now, of course, it's going to give me a second. Okay. Alright. So this is the DevKit C V4 schematic, is where I pulled this from. And from everything I could tell, the ESP32E versions, or the 32E, the ROM 32Es, were all supposed to be direct drop-ins. Let me catch up on chat now. According to my schematic, no, they are not crossed. I can isolate it here in just a second. So to do that test, I need to break the traces for both RX and TX, and then solder them correct. Okay, I'm going to leave this up for just a second, so y'all can kind of look at a schematic of what I did versus where I got it. Just kind of see if y'all come up with any difference here if I swapped a transistor, whatever any of this stuff is. But I'll be right back. Wait. So TX is supposed to go to RX and RX is supposed to go to TX? So if that's the case, then that's an easy fix for the next set of boards. But in that case, that's exactly what's wrong with it. I 100% did TX to TX, RX to RX. Give me a second. I'm going to go check on my family, I've heard him knock on the door a few times. And then I'll be back and we can see if I can get something soldered. It's going to be fun with that CP21. CP. I may just see if I can break some traces and solder on top of the solder mask. But I'll be right back. Okay, they're all asleep, so. Yeah, for sure, chat. And I wish it was more, at least more responsive. But I guess that's part of live streaming. I guess next time I can create a Discord channel and we can all jump in on a voice chat with video. But okay, let's not close that. So as you see, RX goes to RX. So that's where I messed up. Those should be swapped. But with the, and this will be for whoever's done the BW16 mod on their wardrivers. The BW16TX, those just go to an IO. So as long as for those ones, I match. Let me bring up the main screen overhead. For those, I matched the RX and TX that were set on the sim, which that should be correct, right? Which I guess we'll figure out if I can get all this soldered and moved around like it's supposed to be. Oh, this is going to be a fun soldering project. I'm trying to think if I have like any pretty thin wire I can solder with, because it's CP. CP 2105 is kind of a nightmare to solder to those pins. They're so close to one another. Just move the overhead. So, question. Pretty sure this is the way it works. But if I just scrape off the solder mask on top of a trace, that should bring out some copper that I can solder directly to, correct? Okay, that's going to be a lot easier than trying to solder directly to the CP2105 pins. Yeah, and I don't know if I have any. Might have to run by and get some tomorrow. I used to have some speaker coil wire, but I don't think I do anymore. Resistor legs, that's a good idea. I threw a bunch of resistor legs away the other day too. See if I have any laying around. Pretty sure I have a couple of resistors I'm willing to sacrifice for this anyway. Soldering iron heat now. Might just do it with a solder block too. No, I can't do that now. And if that is simply the issue, actually, I have a pretty fine tip soldering iron, if I can find it. I just added a bunch of new stuff to my desk that's throwing me off because we went out of town. Oh, there it is. Is that fine enough? Guess my TS101 is going to come in handy. Again. Where did all my resistors go? Okay, I'll just steal one from this project. I'll tell you one thing. Y'all need a portable soldering iron. I'm loving this TS101. I brought it to the hotel with me while I was out of town for work last week. Made it so easy to just quickly do all of this soldering and it's powered off just a 65-watt wall wart. It's fast, heats up real quick, super light. I've loved it. It's a lot better than the old bulky.
Well, I guess it's not better, but
It's nice compared to the bulk of the one I was using. Okay, I gotta figure out what I can put down here first. Yeah, from flying drones, I got this newbie drone kit that came with this. It's kind of like a TS-101. It's an SH-72 from San Diego. Never even used it, but it just feels cheap compared to the TS-101 I ended up getting. I have a razor blade somewhere around here. Where'd it go? That would be nice to shave off some. I have a feeling this is what happens when I let somebody sit at my desk and move stuff around. So then I can't find it when I need it. I think my desk is a mess, so it's okay to move things around, but it's organized. Ah, there it is. Yeah, I really want to try the pine pencil. I mean, I don't know how it compares to TS-101. I think it's cheaper. Okay. I need some like background music or something for y'all while I do something that forces or makes them quiet. I tried to look up some of that stuff just to see if I can find something that was actually streamable, but I know YouTube especially is picky about that stuff. Alright, where did my solder? I was just showing you my solder. See, just turned it on. It's already back, it's already up to the 330. It needs to be at super lightweight. I love this thing. But I hate my solder. My solder drives me crazy. So my camera is also super far off my desk, so I tend to you might forgive me that I'm not in camera. Oh, this is gonna be so much fun. You think it'd be easier to solder to a via? Like clean off a via? Not be easier to solder to? There's one thing bad about the TS100 is it, one, it is so easy to. I would go pin to pin, but the pins for the CP2105 are super small. They're just as small as the traces. But I think uncovering the top of the via might be my best option. Oh yeah, for sure. Pin to VSB32. Those are large enough that they're going to be easy. It's the traces that are giving me issues. They're not wanting to hold it solid. If I didn't clean them off enough, I guess it's possible. I'm gonna try cleaning up these vias, see how it works. guess it's also possible I'm not fully cleaning off the main entrance. I really wish a few of the guys that I kind of showed this would have caught this issue. But they did catch other things that helped me out a lot, so I can't really complain about it. They helped for nothing, so. Of course. Battery iron. Interesting. Had a My granddad had a butane iron. That was always interesting to see, try to use. But no, this CP101. If you want something super portable and it just takes your same USB-C phone charger you use, it's awesome. So this is why I've had such issues with this solder. Three double A. Wow. Does it kill double A's quick? Right. This is the issue I've had with this solder. Is even with proper um, cleaning and flux and everything, it still half the time doesn't want to stick. It drives me crazy. It just wants to stay stuck to itself. And if this works, no idea how. Alright, y'all ready for the test? See if this is all that it was. I'm just big dummy. Sorry, it's really hard. Let's see if I. There'll definitely be some pictures of this on Instagram tomorrow and Twitter. Or X, whatever the heck you wanna. Yeah, board clamp. I've also got a pretty nice one on my Christmas list. I've learned to do quite a bit without any clamps though. But it sure would be nice to have. No, it's not lead free solder. It might be. Flux core solder wire. No, it's got PV. It's got lead in it. I've heard that the free solder is a pain to deal with. But alright, here's hoping. Let's get all the metal things away so I don't short somewhere else. If it wasn't for this community, I wouldn't use Twitter at all. I don't use it for anything other than to talk to other guys that do all this stuff. And even the ones that post a lot of political stuff, I typically don't follow them and just scroll past all their stuff. Okay. So it's still showing up as tie-in, but that may just be a cache issue. Oh, putty. Yeah, look up putty first. No boot messaging putty. Board info is still showing up. Arduino tie-in. See, I don't know if the partition scheme should be different than what we're using as well, because I am using a different one. Second, I'm gonna go ahead and try this since I already have it open. But I'll open up the other one too. Oh, hey, look. I forgot to bring it on. Okay, that's a new status. This one actually says wrong boot mode detected. I'm pretty sure before. Okay, so let's do our typical unplug and hold boot. Yeah, soldering iron's still hot. So boot, reset, release both. That's another thing I wouldn't, that I was kind of wondering if I got right or not, is the whole boot and reset. I think I did according to the schematics I've seen. I don't know. I just don't understand the capacitor stuff very well, so wrong boot mode detected again. It should behave as if it's just one because I'm connecting to just that one side. Yes, I shut down Arduino IDE first. But I close that out. Open it. Truthfully, it's a good stopping point for me as well. I need to get to bed as well. I'm gonna keep playing around with it over the next few days, but I definitely may do another live or see if I can get a few of y'all together and get together in like a Discord or something and work it out. Uh, let's go ahead and end it here. I think we've made some decent progress. Yeah, having anything different than just not connected is great. And now I know one thing I need to fix on my schematic. So we're working on it. We'll figure out the next step. Y'all, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for coming to help me. Y'all are awesome. Um, we'll definitely, yeah, I'm going to pick up some CP2102 boards just so I can get a couple of these flashed to test them out and see if everything else is working. But I do want to keep seeing if we can get the CP2105 to work at some point. But yeah, we'll get a couple up and running here soon. Uh, if y'all, all y'all that were in here today, send me a message on Instagram or X, and I'm gonna get some stickers y'all's way or something. Y'all have been awesome. All right, that's it. I'm gonna stop streaming. I'll see y'all later.